Welcome to this weekly nugget. Are you busy trying to take care of all the demands placed on you without much time to breathe and regenerate, to the point that at times you're exhausted and feel that you lost connection even to yourself and your higher purpose in life? If that's you or remotely you, then keep watching. In today's video, I want to bring an invitation to reflect on renewal and the many directions that we are invariably pulled into, consciously and many times unconsciously, especially if we're passionate about giving and helping others. And many times we think that we are distracted and we may blame ourselves, but I like to reframe this and think more that many times we are pulled by others in their gravitational orbit. And of course, some parts of us might consciously or unconsciously agree and accept with that. But there's the idea that sometimes others' gravitational pulls might be bigger and larger than we are aware of. Each human being is actually a force of nature and has the ability to pull us in their orbits with their preoccupations, their emotions, thoughts, persuasive abilities, beliefs, etc. And it might be hard to disentangle ourselves once we are in other people's orbit or groups this way, but with awareness, we can start to identify and really make choices. Is this really worthwhile? Do we really want to continue around those pools, or do we want to make some other choices? If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Ioana Popa from Team for the Soul, and I bring this unique blend of science, psychology, spiritual care, and ancient Christian faith, and I'm passionate to help givers to regenerate and renew daily on the go while they keep on giving. Why? Because I burned out twice, so I could relate to this. And I wish I had someone to help me through years and decades of experience along the way. So I bring research on burnout and scientific knowledge and spiritual care experience and knowledge in today's Renewal Nugget. As we think of preventing burnout and preventing getting into these situations that can actually pull us so hard that it's hard to extricate from them, the best parallel for me is that of space. So imagine an object going through space and all of a sudden it inquires a big mass of something. Could be Mars, could be the moon, the earth, the sun. I love science, by the way, and the space just been fascinating for me since I was very young. And I love this idea. So here's an object, and all of a sudden it encounters this huge mass of something that makes the orbit of the smaller object change. So it gets pulled, and before you know it, either crashes into the object or it starts going round and round and round. Now, luckily, our Earth is pulled round and round the sun, and that's a good thing. Here we are. We're still living and breathing, and thankfully and hopefully for more years to come. And as human beings, in general, there's what I've noticed, and spiritual sages of centuries noticed as well, we have a deep thirst for the infinite, a deep long for something that's greater than us. For me, it's God, the divine, the infinite. And we long for our sun, so to speak. And we long to be in balance and just going round and round towards union with that divine and infinite. And many times that longing is kind of buried deep down, and it comes in all sorts of ways. And invariably, we get pulled in other smaller cosmic objects, so to speak, that are coming our way. And we end up pulling in their orbit. Either we're conditioned doing this since we're young, or nowadays the internet is filled with all sorts of interesting things that are pulling us into their orbit. Here's an example. How often we are very busy during the day, and then evening comes and we start mindless activities. There's nothing wrong with watching shows or news or scrolling through social media, but how many times we intend to finish our whatever show, social media news at a certain time, and then half an hour, 2, 3 hours later, we're still doing the same thing. This is an example of we got caught into that larger orbit. And nowadays, using great psychology of persuasion, there's very great ways that we can get pulled into what's happening around us, especially online. And we can ask, are these activities really nurturing us? Are they really bringing us to our center? Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. So I'm not here to judge what activities are we using or not. I'm here to bring awareness and just a remembrance that we do have a choice. Is this something that we really want? Or are we overriding ourselves and our higher intentions for the day? This could be besides the online, right? It could be food or alcohol or drugs. And this is when we can develop small or big addictions. I think of them like going into those orbits. And the bigger the addiction, in other words, the bigger the pull, the more difficult it is to pull ourselves, to extract ourselves out of the gravitational pull and recenter. But it's not impossible. Unlike the cosmic objects, as human beings, using our awareness and will and skills, and with the help of other human beings, we can actually pull back, realign with our center, with our soul, our true self, and our higher purpose in life. So that's the great news. So today, you might wonder, well, how is this important? First of all, if you resonate with any of this, just type in the chat. You either notice this in yourself or discover it in others. Just type in the chat. There's something very powerful to notice that we're not alone. We all do this. I've done this, and so continues in some areas. It's a work in progress. So how is this important? And what does all this have to do with daily renewal? Well, here's the thing. If you're a giver, could be an educator, healer, leader, caregiver, philanthropist, business owner, whatever you do as a giver, most likely you have a tendency to give from your heart. And as givers, we're more prone and more susceptible to what's happening around us. Therefore, we can be more prone to the demands or the needs of other people, more susceptible to their emotions, more susceptible to their gravitational pull. And many times givers can drop what they're doing, the drop of the hat, and leave and just move in that direction to really take care of the other person or whatever is needed. And if we do this too much and we get habitually pulled in other people's gravitational pull without coming back to ourselves, we can find ourselves depleted, frustrated, and before you know it, burnout is around the corner. We can find ourselves running behind the schedule. And most givers, at some point in their lives, they can feel like they're on a treadmill. They keep giving and giving and keep moving and never feel they can reach the target, so to speak, and start feeling depleted. So at this point, you might wonder, well, what's the solution? Well, the risk of being pulled in other people's orbit is actually higher if we don't counterbalance that with nurturing ourselves, nurturing our gravitational pull, growing in our energy, in our sense of replenishment, so that we don't end up losing ourselves. Therefore, by connecting daily through our higher self and our soul with God, with what's greater than us, we can actually replenish, come back to ourselves, and really have a sense of discernment. Are we on the right gravitational pull? So by regenerating daily, we go back to our purpose. We go back to what's really important for us. The solution is to connect daily through our higher self and our soul with God, with what's greater than us. Because the greater the gravitational pull, the easier it is for us to regenerate and stay on the course aligned with our higher purpose. This will increase our sense of peace and grounding feeling. So it's easier to stay aligned and not be pulled so easily into other people's orbits. Because as it is in outer space, the larger the cosmic object is, the less likely it is to be pulled in other smaller objects. So nurture yourself, get into the habit of daily regenerate and daily realign with your values. It doesn't have to take 2 hours. It could be just literally a minute or two, remembering who you are, who you serve in this world, and connect and regenerate with it, with yourself. And here's a paradox. The more regenerated we are, the more we keep our balance and our vision, the more aligned we are, the easier it is to help others. So I will leave you with a few questions that might help you bring clarity about your life purpose and your orbit and make it easier for you to renew on a daily basis so you can keep on giving. So just get curious and ask yourself, what's my orbit? In other words, what's my main priority in life? Number 2, who do I really represent in this world? What's my true vocation? Which means what's the greater orbit that I really resonate with and I want to be on? Is it God, the divine, true self, cosmic consciousness, humanity, community, church, family? What is it? The more clear you are, the easier it's going to be to stay on your own course. So to wrap this up, the invitation for this week is to be aware and start making small choices moving towards your largest orbit in your life, your higher purpose, and nurture your own gravitational pull and start cutting down small steps here and there from spending too much time in smaller orbits that are not aligned to where you want to go. So 3 questions to leave you with. Number 1, bring awareness. Which orbit am I right now? Number 2, bring choice. Is this the right orbit that I choose to be on? We have a choice. You have a will. Number 3, bring soul nurturance. What activities can I do to strengthen my own gravitational pull by regenerating and nourishing myself and my soul? So as a giver, I want to encourage you to do that and just have fun playing with this idea of orbits, choices, and renewal so that you can make small choices daily, stay aligned with who you truly are. Have a lovely week, and until next time, I say goodbye.